Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is doing good this evening and stuff. For those of you new, hi, I am Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and this is Embroidery Happy Hour. And today's topic is the most common mistakes that not shoppers, sellers make. Okay, so I had too much coffee, I guess you could see.
Let's do this.
Oops, sorry.
We're
Hold
gonna
on, I
take this
got
for
something. Let me just slow this in. Here we go. All right, cool. All right, so I hope you guys can hear and see me okay. And I don't see anybody in the chat saying, hey, I can't hear you. So I'm going to assume that everything is working okay. So like I was saying before, I wanted to talk to you guys this Friday about the common mistakes that shop owners on Etsy's make, okay, when trying to sell on Etsy, okay? This is something that a lot of people do, which is it's a couple of things. Let me see. I wrote down a couple. I actually have 11, okay? I have 11 things that I came up with. And there are even things that I even did myself that I had to correct. So I figured this would be a really good opportunity to share this with all you guys. So that way, if you guys are looking to open an Etsy shop, or if you have an Etsy shop and the holidays are coming, right? You want to make sure that you have all of these things covered. So that way you guys can have a really good, successful selling time of the year, especially during Christmas, because the holidays are coming. All right. So let's start. So as you guys know, those of you guys that have watched me for several months or years, actually, I think I'm going on 2 years now with this channel. But you guys know that when I host Embroidery Happy Hour, what I like to do is, because I'm very respectful of people's time, is I will always give you guys announcements. And then after announcements, I get right into the topic and I will talk about the topic for the first hour. After the hour, what I usually like to do is I go through the chat and I like to see if you guys have any questions about the topic that I was talking about. And I try to address everything, okay? So just so that you guys know, because I know sometimes you guys can probably look at the channel and then sometimes you see, oh my God, that Embroidery Happy Hour was on for like 2 hours and stuff like that. Just know that the first hour, I just cover the topic. And then after that, it's just really an interaction between me and the audience, okay? So that's just usually how I roll. So as for the announcements, okay, I did mention last week that, we have a sewing and quilt expo that's coming in September. Okay, so I went and I registered for the Surger classes. So I will be there all 3 days. I do plan on posting when we can all like have some kind of a get together spot there at the expo. Maybe we can meet for dinner or for lunch or something like that. So I'm trying, I will try to post that on our Facebook group so that way we can all meet and talk and, have a really good time and stuff like that. So just to let you know, that is in the works, and I will be posting in the Facebook group as soon as I have more details, so that way nobody can be left out. Okay. So that was all I really have for announcements and stuff like that. So let's just get down to it, okay? Because I know that a lot of you guys do embroidery, not just for fun, but sometimes, because embroidery can be a pretty expensive hobby. Sometimes what you do is you go ahead and you sell a couple of items, which kind of really helps because it kind of offsets the expense of doing embroidery. So let's talk about all these things. Got 11 stuff for you guys to think about and consider if you guys are thinking about having an Etsy shop, or if you do have an Etsy shop, you want to make sure that you avoid these mistakes, okay? The first one, okay, your shop appearance. Now that is really, really, really important, because think of your shop as you going to a job interview, right? First impressions mean a lot. So when someone is going through the Etsy, remember, Etsy is a platform where it hosts a lot of little mini shops, right? So your shop is just one of thousands and hundreds, probably even millions of shops out there. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your shop looks as nice, crisp, and clean as possible, and very inviting as well. So a lot of times what happens is when people open up these Etsy shops, they don't really focus too much on how the shop looks. So, you have to really think about that. Like when you have the Etsy shop, you have like the banner on the top. That banner is really going to be the first thing that pops at the customer when they actually open up your shop, right? That's going to represent you at the very opening of it. And that's the first couple of seconds that customer is starting to get to know you and your brand. So you want to make sure that when you set up your Etsy shop, that you are actually really taking care of the appearance of your Etsy shop. See if you have a logo. Try to make your own little logo. Try to make sure that you have colors and stuff and that the scheme looks really nice and inviting. That is really going to attract customers and stuff. A lot of people, what they do is they'll open up a shop and they'll just put like a title. That's about it. And it looks okay, but the thing is, it's not as inviting. And you want to make sure that your shop really represents you in a positive way, okay? You got to remember, the more you care about how you and your business is represented, the more customers are actually going to care about trying to look at your shop and seeing the products that you provide, okay? So make sure that you really take care of your shop appearance. That is really, really important. The other thing, the second one that I find that people really kind of sometimes don't pay attention to is when you are creating your listings and you are putting your photographs of the products that you are offering in your Etsy shop. A lot of times you'll have people that will do like, and I don't really want to use the word, but you know what? I'm going to use it anyway. You're sloppy, okay? You are just coming out and you're just taking a plain picture of the photograph and you're just pasting it on there and you're moving it along. You want to be able to have those photographs really make your product pop, okay? You want to make sure the lighting is good. You want to make sure that you have plenty of pictures of the product that really gives a good view of what your products look like, not just at one angle, at every angle if possible. Etsy also provides the ability for you to put up a video on there. You can be very creative with that video. Now, it can't be a very long video, but those couple of seconds are something that can really help you get those customers to really buy your products, okay? For instance, I have seen some videos where people are selling like wallets and stuff, okay? Let's take a wallet as a simple example. So what they'll do is in that couple of in those little videos, those short videos, the person will have the wallet and they'll open the wallet and they show the back of the wallet, the front of the wallet, the inside of the wallet. They show the little slots and everything. And then what they do is they really show their product off. You can do that as well, okay? If you have like a kitchen towel or a dinner napkin or something like that, hold up the dinner napkin, hold up the kitchen towel, okay? Or if you want to show how your process works, take a little video of your item being embroidered, if embroidery is your thing. That way, the customer can see, oh my God, this is not something that this person is reselling. This is something that the person is actually making themselves. So you want to take advantage of all those photographs and the videos and that kind of stuff. The listing is so, so important. And you want to make sure that the photograph is so clear that, the person knows exactly what they're buying. Okay. Sometimes what happens is, it's like you'll see a picture, right? And you think that maybe the color is a certain way, or you think the material is I don't know, in a certain way. And then when the person will get it, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it doesn't look like the picture. That is one of the reasons why I personally, some people like markups, good for you. Me personally, I do stay away from the markups. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not a personal fan of it. Usually markups is when people have a photograph, right, of a particular product. And then what they do is that they just like kind of Photoshop it. And the reason why they do that is because they don't like want to waste a shirt, or they don't want to waste any type of products or materials to actually create something so they can photograph it so the customer can see what it's going to look like. Okay. The problem with that is that if you don't do the markup correctly, well, sometimes what happens is people could tell it's a markup. Okay, they could really tell that that's not a genuine product. All right, you could really, if you really look at the product and then you blow it up and stuff like that, you can kind of tell they kind of like, just it's just photoshopped, right? The other thing also is sometimes the colors are not very true. The blue doesn't come out the way it's supposed to be. So customers could think that it's going to be one color, and then when they get the product, it's going to be something else. Or sometimes they think that it's one texture and then it's not. So the thing is, you want to avoid any type of misunderstandings between the customer and the product that you're providing. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your pictures are clear and that they are authentic. And when I mean authentic, I mean is not doing the markups. If you feel that your markups are as true as possible, go for it. I mean, if it works for you, okay, that's fine. Me personally, I just don't like doing it. It's just a personal thing for me, right? Everybody has to do their thing that works for them, right? I don't like that I run the risk of a customer buying something from me and then they think that it looks one way, and then when they get it, it actually looks like something else. Because then what'll happen is when they do the reviews, they could come out and they could say stuff like, "Oh, it didn't really look the way I thought it was going to be." One of the things that I do get a lot is that when people do buy something from me, some of the comments of the reviews that they leave is it's exactly like it is in the picture. And I actually take pride in that because I know that the customer got exactly what they thought they were going to get. So pictures are very, very important, okay? Because you have to, take your time and make sure that they're crisp, they're clear, that people know exactly what they're getting, because that can lead to a lot of misunderstandings. Another thing also is those pictures tell the customer a lot about how much you care about your shop and about the products and services that you're offering them, okay? If your pictures look kind of cheesy or they look kind of sloppy, or and even the shop looks a little sloppy, the customer can kind of interpret that as, you know what, they don't really step up their game to really, make the shop too inviting. So their product might not be as inviting either. You know what I'm saying? So, it could kind of like say something about you indirectly. So, just be conscientious of that. Okay. Now, the other thing, this is number 3, is your shop's story. Okay. And a lot of times I notice people are not taking advantage of that. And I don't know why. When you set up an Etsy shop, there is a section in there where you get to introduce yourself to your customers. And that is the perfect opportunity for you to establish a connection with them. What happens is that's a section where you can come out and you can say, "Hi, I'm Jeanette, and thanks for visiting my Etsy shop." And what you can do is you can tell them about, why you got this shop. Let me see, what did I put in here? You tell them, how did you start? There you go. How did you start? Why are you doing this? And you can even share your goals with your shop. Okay. Like if you look on my Etsy shop, one of the things that I do is I explained that I started doing embroidery just to give as gifts to friends and family. And they loved it so much that they encouraged me to go ahead and start my own business. And one of the things that my goals is to make sure that I can provide unique gifts for people at a very affordable price. And I kind of use the logo of making the world smile one stitch at a time. It's your way of really reaching out to your customers and letting them, kind of get to know you. All right. So it's like, it really is a good thing to do. And I've noticed that sometimes when I look at some Etsy shops, they don't really share the story. Not only do you get to share the story, but you can also share some photographs. And I notice in some shops, people do is not only do they say, give the story of how they started and how much they love their craft and they're passionate about it and everything. Sometimes they even take photographs of themselves actually working in the shop. Like for instance, I've been buying some leather bags, and one of the things that I really like is when I go to the Etsy shop and I see that the person that actually hand makes the leather bags, they take a picture of themselves in their shop and you see all of the material and you see them cutting or sewing the leather. I mean, that's like really great because it kind of really gives me like the impression like, oh my God, they work so hard and these are handmade goods. So it kind of builds that connection. And then at the same time, when I actually ordered my bag and I got it, it felt, I felt some kind of certain way about it because I know that this was something that was actually made. Um, Hello, this was something. Sorry about that, guys. See, my cousin is trying to call me. I'm sorry. I hope you guys can still see me, okay? Yeah, I'm still live. Okay, great. Um, Hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry, guys. Ugh. I'm on live. Can't talk. Okay, sorry about that. I had my cousin from New York. She probably forgot about my life today. All right, guys. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So, like I was saying, the story. The story is a way for you to make a connection with your customers and for them to get to know you and how you started your business. Okay, so you take advantage of that. Don't leave that space blank. It's so important. Okay, so I just wanted to to make sure I mention that because there are times when I go into some shops and I see that area kind of empty. So, just wanted to mention that. Okay, the fourth one, okay, this is number 4, all right? Your listings. Oh my God. Okay, now this one to me is a huge one, okay? This is really the bottom line of it all, okay? If you don't take the time to take care of all the details on your shop, people are really going to take notice of that. And that includes your listings, okay? You got to make sure that when you create your listings on your in your Etsy shop that you put out there as much information about your product as possible. As much as possible. Make sure that it's clear, accurate, and it's very descriptive of what you are selling, okay? For instance, let's talk about the title. Make sure that you have a good title on there. Be as descriptive as possible. If you have a particular item that's out there and you know what title you want to put out there, but you see that other shops have similar listings, look at the titles that they're using. Okay, there is nothing wrong with picking words from other different listings out there so that you can go ahead and you can create your listing. All right, I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so but make sure that you have a nice clear title. You get 13 tags, okay, when you have a listing. Now tags is so that when people do a search for particular items, if they search for a particular tag, your item will come up, right? So what you want to do is make sure you use all 13. I sometimes see that people, what they do is they just won't use any tags, or they only use one tag, or when they do the product description, they're not even really clear on the product description. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like, put your information out there, okay? So that's another thing that I always see. The description, be very clear about the description. Remember, you are selling a product, okay? And the thing is, description, I'm not talking about just put the size and put the color and stuff like that. You can be as descriptive as possible. You can say, this beautiful baby blanket, so soft to the touch, is a perfect gift for any baby shower or any baptism or any baby event. Surprise the mother to be with this beautiful baby blanket that feels soft to the touch. The size is whatever, whatever, whatever. And it's available in these beautiful colors. Da, 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 da. Okay, personalize it with your name, with all the different fonts that are available. If you want a particular size or if you want something custom, reach out to me. I'll be happy to see what I can do to help you. You know what I'm saying? Be as descriptive as possible. Okay, like, remember, when you pick up a catalog, okay, like a shopper's catalog, um you are, I don't know if you guys ever watched Steinfeld, and there was an episode where Elaine was working for, I think, the Peterman or something like that, catalog, and she was in charge of like marketing or something like that. Well, what were they doing? They were creating these ads in their catalog, and they had to write these descriptions of the products. Well, basically, you're doing the same thing on your Etsy shop. Okay, all these products are going to have a description. So what you want to do is you want to describe how gorgeous it is, how handy it is, how unique your gift is, and you want to really dazzle it up. Okay, so take advantage of that. Okay, because that is really going to attract your customers. Okay, you want it to be as descriptive as possible. You want to be as accurate also as possible. Okay, so when you're putting in sizes and stuff like that, make sure you use words like approximately, not exactly. Okay, because sometimes it can be off a couple of centimeters here and there. Okay, so just be as descriptive as possible. Okay, use all the options available also on your Etsy shop. If you have something and you are selling it over $35, okay, they're going to get automatically free shipping. So just advertise the free shipping. If I have something that probably costs, oh, I don't know, maybe it's $30, I'll just throw in the free shipping. Just make sure you adjust the price accordingly so that when they buy it, it can cover your shipping costs and you still make money. Okay, so you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But pay attention to your listings, how you're advertising them and everything, because that is important. All right, nobody wants to look at a listing and then they like the picture, but there's no information about it. And this is another thing that you're going to have to think about also. Let's say you have a listing out there and it's not really very descriptive. Okay, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a lot of customers that they're going to pass your product because somebody else is offering the same thing, but they provided more information about their item. Or if your item is just so much cheaper than someone else's, right, but you're not as descriptive, most likely that customer is going to have a lot of questions because you weren't upfront with a lot of information about it. So then you're going to get a lot of emails or messages from them saying, hey, can you tell me what size it is? Can you tell me, does it feel this way or whatever, right? They're going to come up with all the questions and stuff. So you're going to have to answer them, So that it is a time saver also when you actually do provide all the information in your listing, because that way people will come out and they'll be like, oh, okay, I got all the information that I need. They don't really have to bother you. They really don't. Either they order it or they don't. And sometimes when they order it, what do? You just fill the order and you send it out. You're good to go, right? But if you don't provide enough information about the item, you're going to have a lot of back and forth. And if you end up having a lot of people that are interested in that, that's going to be a lot of time that you're going to be working on trying to answer a lot of customers' questions. So just something to think about, when you're doing your listings, make sure that you really check all the boxes, that you're as descriptive as possible. Use all those tags. So that way, when people are searching for a particular item, they actually can find your item. Okay, so, just make sure that put in all the pictures that you can put in all the videos that you can put in. Okay, the more information you put out there regarding your item, the better. And now I'm not saying also just to throw information out there. You got to be neat. You got to be strategic about it and stuff like that. Okay, so, just something to think about. And I know this is kind of going to be a little overwhelming too, because when I'm telling you all this stuff, I know you guys are probably thinking, oh God, this is a lot of work. Well, yeah, it is. It's a lot of work. Okay. It's a lot of work. But if you do the work up front, you have less work to do in the back end. Just say. Okay. All right. So the other thing, this is the number 5 that I find that a lot of people don't do that they should be doing, is they need to be using social media. Okay. Now, I myself am a little guilty of that for the simple fact that I am kind of handicapped when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not really too savvy when it comes to the Instagram and all that kind of stuff and everything. So I am still on the learning curve. So I know that I would be able to sell a lot more and do a lot more if I was a little more media savvy. Okay. Um, Now they got stuff like, you know, what is it, TikTok, then they got the Instagram, they got all these social media platforms. A lot of times what happens is that people, have these Etsy shop and then they just sit there, right? They don't think they have to do anything else. They feel like, oh, well, it's on Etsy, so Etsy will push my product out. Well, yes and no. Okay. Etsy does advertise, okay, and they try to get as much people to look at their platforms to buy items as much as possible. However, though, what Etsy is actually doing is they are having people go to Etsy. They're not having people go to Etsy, your shop. Okay. You are the one that, if you want people to actually get to your shop, you're going to have to help in advertising your shop. Okay. Because what happens is people will go to Etsy and they're just going to say, hey, I just want to buy a scrunchie, right? So when they go to Etsy, they type in scrunchies, they're going to have a whole bunch of shops of people that make scrunchies, right? But there's no guarantee that your average your listings for your shop of scrunchies is going to come out in the first 2 pages, okay, of the screen when people are looking, right? So you're going to want to try to help your shop get more visibility by pushing it using social media, all right? So that is what I have down as number 5. All right. So just to recap the 5 that I have so far, okay, is number 1, we talked about your shop appearance. Okay. You got to take care of your shop appearance because that is your brand. That's you. That's you marketing you. Okay. First appearance of people looking at your shop. Very important. You don't want to mess that up. The second one, your photos. Make sure they are sharp, make sure they're clean, make sure you're taking pictures of every angle. I mean, make your photos very, very inviting. And that's something I forgot to mention about the photos too while I'm at it. Let's talk about this. Sometimes what I see is that somebody could be selling something, okay? Like let's say I'm selling these staplers, right? Well, what ends up happening is people take pictures of the staple, right? I'm going to take pictures of this stapler. But then by the stapler, let's say I have a vase and I have all these flowers around it and stuff like that. Sometimes you could end up overdoing it in a picture. What happens is I'm trying to sell you this stapler, but I got so much stuff in that picture that you don't focus on the stapler. You're focusing on the flowers. You're focusing on the trees. You're focusing on mellow. You're focusing on everything else that's around the item, but the item that I'm trying to sell you. So when you are doing background for your photos and stuff, I'm not saying don't use them, but what I'm saying is don't overdo it. Because sometimes you can overdo it, and then what happens is you're taking away from the real focus of that photo, which is the product that you're trying to sell. You can overdo it, okay? I've seen people do that all the time, and then it's like, okay, it looks good, but the customer doesn't really care about all the other stuff you have in that photo. Okay, like when people have, t-shirts, they show shoes, they show a belt, they show a hat. You're not selling shoes, you're not selling a hat, you're not selling a belt, you're selling the shirt. Let's focus on the shirt. I mean, keep it simple. You could put a couple of things in there, but it can be a little misleading because people could actually come on and say, "Oh, but look, it comes with the sneakers too." You never know. Okay, so you want your photos to really represent what you're trying to sell, and you really want the product itself to stand out on the photo. Okay, so I forgot to mention that. And then your shop story. Make sure, and I mentioned number 3, your shop story. Make sure you tell your story. Believe me, people love to get to know the shop owner, why they do what they do, why they do it, and all that kind of stuff. And they love seeing pictures of you actually making the products. So don't skip out on that section. Make sure you fill that out and you be as descriptive as possible. Okay. It's really a way for you to connect with your customers. Your listings, okay, was number 5, which I talked about, is make sure that they are filled out clear, be very descriptive, that way customers don't have questions. Okay, I mean, they could have questions, but you want to try to minimize it. Okay, now let's talk about number 6. Okay, because we're going to move on ahead. Okay, because we're at half hour now. Let's talk about number 6 right now. Number 6 is one of the things that I noticed that shop owners don't do, that you really should be doing, okay, and you should be doing this on a regular basis, is looking at your shop stats. Okay, one of the things that's really good about Etsy is that Etsy allows you to go in there and look to see how many times have people visited your shops. You also have the ability to see how many times have people looked at your listings, and you actually get to see also how much revenue you have made per listing in your shop. If you see that you have listings out there that nobody's even looked at, or you have stuff that you haven't even sold one in like 6 months, then that kind of gives you an indication that maybe that wasn't something that was going to sell. So maybe what you should do is you should maybe take another product and change that listing up to another design or something like that, because that just didn't work out. It happens to me all the time. Okay, and that's not for you to get discouraged. It's so that you can keep track of what's actually selling in your shop and what's not, and what's doing really well, and what are people actually looking at. Okay, so you need that information, because that's what's going to actually tell you where you need to improve. And there's going to be times, and I'm telling you, it's happened to me, where I had made designs for kitchen towels, and I swore up and down, oh, this is going to be a bestseller. People are going to love it. I mean, oh my God, maybe I should make 20 of them because they're going to like sell like hotcakes. And then I put it out there, and then a week, 2 weeks, a whole month, and nothing. Okay. So it's like, okay, that didn't sell. So it was cute to me, but it wasn't cute to everybody else. So it happens. All right. And then sometimes I'll even have a design where I'll create it, but I don't think, in my opinion, like it was my best design. But then when I go ahead and I post it up there, all of a sudden everybody under the moon wants it. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think this was gonna sell, but it did. So you just never know. Okay. So, but make sure that you look at that section. Go to the dashboard of your Etsy shop. Look at the analysis section of your Etsy shop. See what's selling, see what's not, and see how many people are looking at your listings, how many, and do an analysis of it during the month. How many times was your shop visited? How many times was a listing visited? Was it visited at all? I mean, and keep track of all that stuff. It gives you an idea of what's working and what's not working. I notice a lot of people aren't doing that. What they end up doing is they just put a listing up there, and then they just leave it there forever. And even though they don't sell like once, so it's like 5 years will pass by and the same listing is out there. This is another thing too that a lot of people don't do, that I say you really should do. In that analysis thing, when you notice that a listing is not being looked at, relook at your listing. Look at your tags. Are you using the right tags? Change up the tags. It could be that you're just, I don't know, maybe you just didn't tag the item correctly. Change the title. Maybe it's that title. Maybe you just didn't use the right words, the right keywords, okay? I use things like there's a tool out there that I use called eRank. And I don't pay for it, okay? It's free, all right? It's erank.com. And one of the things that I liked about that is that, first of all, I don't pay. It's free. I just created an account and stuff that you can't pay if you upgrade it. But I've never upgraded it because I never needed it. I mean, I didn't need the upgraded version. That's what I'm saying. But they have something called a keyword list tool. And what you can do in there is you can type in a phrase and then it'll pop up and it'll give you different keywords that you can use, okay, as your tags. So I do that, and when I have a listing and I see that the listing didn't get any hits or people just didn't see it or whatever, I'll use eRank, and then I'll say, okay, well, let me fresh up the keywords. Let me fresh up the key tags, the tags or the title. And sometimes that actually worked. It's just that I was just not using the right stuff, and that's why I wasn't getting the hits. So, play around with the list. Now, I'm not saying that, when you do your analysis and you see that you got a listing and nobody ever looked at and stuff, just delete it. No, or give up on it. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that re-look at the list. Maybe you just have to make a couple of adjustments, and before you know it, you get some hits. I'm just saying, but do that, okay? I'm serious. A lot of people, what they do is they just set up the Etsy shop and they don't even bother to look and do the analysis of how they're doing, okay? Because that's important. So make sure that you do that, all right? Now, we're moving on to number 7, okay? And this one is product research, okay? Chances are that whatever it is that you're trying to sell out there, there's probably someone out there that's probably got something very similar to what you have. May not be the exact same thing, but something similar. Okay. So what you want to do is you really want to do your product research. And when I mean product research is I want you to go out there and I want you to search to see what other shops or listings are out there that are pretty similar to what you are trying to sell, okay? I want you to look at their listings and see how they describe their products. How do they title it, okay? And also see if it sells. Also take a look at their pricing, okay? That's important because remember, when you have your shop out there and if you're selling something, your shop is competing with all these other shops that are using the same platform that you're using on Etsy. All right. So you want to make sure that your pricing is just as competitive. Okay. You can't just come out and say, okay, I have a baby blanket and I'm going to sell it for $500. Meanwhile, you have all these other shops out there that are selling the same exact baby blanket for $50, $40, and yet you want $500. That's not going to work. Okay. You're going to have to really convince those customers out there that there is something super unique about that blanket that's going to be worth that extra $450. Okay. So, so make sure that you are going out there and you are searching and you are researching, you are doing, you're looking at the different descriptions out there. You're looking at how they're titling their stuff and you're really looking at the pricing. Okay. And then, see what is the high end, of the pricing, and then also look at the low end. And usually what I do personally is I go somewhere like in the middle. That's how I usually do it. The bottom line is I will not sell anything if I'm going to lose some money. That is for sure. Okay. I don't do it. I don't do that. I do know that some people use this strategy of, oh, I just started my shop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer my items at a very low price. That to me is a mistake. And I'm going to tell you why. I say that should be definitely a no-no for shop owners. First of all, when you lower your price too low, a lot of times what happens is you're losing money. You really are. because that means that you might be covering your costs. You might be covering your fees, but you're definitely probably not paying for your time. Okay. So you most likely what you're doing is you're selling at a cost. Another thing also is sometimes people associate a low price with low quality. Okay. So they may come out and they go, "Oh, okay, they're real dirt cheap." But then they'll say, "Okay, it's real dirt cheap and I do want it, but I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know, is the material that good and stuff like that. You know what I mean?" So it's like, you don't want to do that. And then at the same time, you also have to think about future customers, okay? So let's say that a customer went and they bought a baby blanket from you for 10 bucks, okay? For $10. And you sold it to me. I liked it. It was really cute. I was like, "Oh my god, $10." And I mean, and I got this beautiful baby blanket, right? Well, let's say 3 months passed by and I'm going to another baby shower and I'm like, "You know what? That baby blanket was a big hit. It was only $10. I'm going to go to that shop now and I'm going to buy it." Well, now all of a sudden you upped your price from $10 to $30. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to buy from you now, because I'm going to be like, "Oh, what's up with that? That big jump." You know what I mean? It's like, now you could easily come out, because I know everybody's saying it now. "Oh, inflation's high and the cost of living's high and all that kind of stuff." Yeah, it's true. It's true. The cost of living is high. But just know that that could be a problem for your returning customers. It's okay to increase prices. I'm not saying that once you have a price set, you can't increase it. I'm not saying that at all, okay? But what I'm saying is you can't do like huge, big increases. So you want to make sure that when you are pricing your items out there for sale, you are competitive enough where you can be attractive to your customers, but also you're not cheating yourself, okay? Attracting customers by having like the lowest sale price or whatever, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. It's just you don't want that. You don't want that real low price to make people think that you're providing low quality. I'm just saying. Okay, so just think about that. Just something to consider. I mean, everybody runs their shop their own little way, but it's just little thoughts that I just want you guys to just think about. Because I don't want you guys to make mistakes and then all of a sudden you're like, "Shoot, I screwed up." You know what I mean? Okay, so the other thing, now I'm up to number 8. Shop owner issues. Okay, things that we make mistakes on. Not staying ahead of the shopping seasons. Okay, I see this all the time. Okay, a lot of times what happens is when the season is here, that's when shop owners decide, "Oh, it's Valentine's Day next week. So, okay, because it's Valentine's Day next week, I'm going to start putting up my Valentine's Day products today." It's too late. It's too late. You missed the season, okay? Because this is what happens. People usually shop a little earlier for these holidays. You want your products to be out there earlier, okay? So that way, when people do their early shopping and stuff like that, your products are there. Because think about it, especially if they're buying online, you have to add in the shipping time and your processing time, okay? Especially if you hand make your items, okay? Somebody's going to go ahead and they're going to order it from you. And then when they order it from you, it's going to take a couple of days for you to make it. And then by the time you make it, then you have to put it in the mailbox. You got to ship it to them. You don't want to miss the boat. Okay. So, like right now, we're at the end of, when are we at the end? No, we're at the middle of August, right? So in the middle of August, you should, the way I look at it is kids are already back to school. So if you're doing back to school stuff at this time, I think you kind of forget about it, because that's kind of like that season's already like done. Okay. So I would be focusing right now, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You got to stay ahead of the seasons, okay? If you want to buy stuff, sell stuff for seasons. If your products that you're offering are seasonal, you got to stay ahead of the seasons, okay? You got to plan ahead of them, and you got to execute ahead, okay? Because you want that stuff to be out there so that when people are ready to buy, they can snag them up and all that kind of stuff. So I noticed that a lot of times people don't do that. What they do is they wait and it's too late. And then when it's too late, it's kind of like you're really going to miss out on a lot of good sales, because what happens is those people that shop early, they're not going to be able to see what you had to offer. So you want to make sure that you do that. Okay. Now we're going on to number 9. All right. Number 9, not managing your inventory. Okay. Especially during the holidays. Okay. This has personally happened to me. And there are 2 types of inventories that I am talking about. Okay. I'm talking about your products, and I'm also talking about your supplies. It has happened to me on both ends, product and supplies. One year I ran out of kitchen towels, and I actually had to run around to shopping malls and stuff like that looking for similar kitchen towels in order for me to fill orders, because the kitchen towels were like sold out that I usually buy, and I could not get them. And what I had to also do is I couldn't get them in my ivory color that I do for some of my designs. So I had to actually change all my listings to say this design is now only available on a white towel. And that was a lot of work, because I had to go to all my listings. I had to update all my listings. And then I also had to spend time running around, and during the holiday, okay, where the shops are already like full and stuff like that, looking for these towels. So so I kind of messed up on that, and I learned really quickly the hard way that you want to make sure that you do not run out of your blanks. That is for sure. The other thing that I also ran out, and this was a really bad thing that will never happen to me again, was I ran out of bobbin thread. Okay. I use my multi-needle machines, and I use the magnetic bobbin thread. And for some reason, they were sold out on Amazon. They were sold out on Allstitch. They were sold out on all the online stores. I think there was some shortage or something that was going on. Could not get hold of bobbins. I had to actually go to a sewing shop, and I bought that sewing shop out. I bought every single bobbin that they had, because the bottom line is, without those bobbins, I was not going to be able to embroider anything. Okay. Because I had absolutely no bobbins, none. Okay. So, yeah, that was not good. Not good at all. So now I have plenty of bobbins, and I take stock of my inventory, and when I see that I have like only 2 boxes of bobbins left, which each box is 100. Okay. So when I get down to 200 bobbins, guess what I do? I buy 400 more. So I always try to make sure that I don't go less than 200 bobbins in the shop. And when it comes to my blanks, I make sure that I have at least 50 of the whites and 50 of the ivory in stock. Okay. The minimum. All right. Because I have to keep the shop running. I cannot afford to run out of blanks, and I cannot afford to run out of any type of bobbin thread. And I also make sure that I look at the color threads that I need as well. I make sure that I have those stocked up. So do not let that happen to you, because if your designs rely on a particular color, make sure that you have, buy the big combs, and make sure that you have at least 2 or 3 of them in stock, so that way you can embroider and you never run out of the color threads or the bobbin threads, or even your blanks. Because the last thing you want, especially when you are during a heavy season, you got your machines running, you got orders to fill and everything like that, you do not want to have to scramble for products, for your blanks and your supplies, shipping bags, packing bags, tissue paper. Think about your mailing Mailing labels, okay? Make sure you don't run out of that, okay? Let's see what else. Uh, if you do applique, make sure you have plenty of the fabric. You know, yeah, stabilizer and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you look at your inventory, you keep track of your inventory, and you don't run out. Very, very, very important. It is not fun. Trust me. Happened to me and I wasn't happy. So you don't want to do that. Okay. The other thing, number 10. This is number 10, and then I also have an 11 for you, okay? Number 10 is something that I notice a lot of shop owners do not do. And I don't know why, okay? Because I don't think of it as a negative thing. I think of it as a positive thing. They don't reach out to the customers who purchase their products and ask them to leave them a review. I think that is so important, but people don't do that. And I think usually it's because of fear. People are afraid that if they reach out to a customer and say, "Hey, I saw you got my product. I hope you're happy with it. Would really appreciate if you could leave me a 5-star review. If you can't leave me a 5-star review, could you reach out to me and let me know why? How can I improve my process and stuff like that?" That is so important to do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when people are looking to buy something on Etsy, you got to remember, like I said before, your shop is competing with other stores out there. Not only are people going to be looking at your store, the way it looks and feels and stuff like that, and looking at your products, but when they look at their products and they read the descriptions and stuff, what they also look at is the reviews. Reviews are important. And if you notice, even when you shop on Amazon or anything like that, I know me personally, I love reading the reviews. Okay. You're going to see whether people are going to either love the product, they're going to think that it's a great quality and stuff like that. They're very happy. And sometimes what happens is some people will say, "Oh, I wasn't happy with the product. It wasn't packaged nicely or anything like that." Now, this is something that I do. Um, and I do this a lot. And there's a reason for my madness. Trust me, there is. As a shop owner, okay, reviews is very, very important because that not only encourages people to feel confident in buying your product, okay, but it says something about you as a shop owner and your products, okay, about you caring enough about the quality of your work, and stuff like that. So it's about pride, right? I always say that when I do something from my shop, if it's not perfect, it doesn't leave here. I won't. I will rather refund the money to the customer than to sell something and ship it out that's not top notch. That's just how I run my shop. Okay. Other people don't care. They'll just say, "Oh, they won't notice it. Package it up, send it out." Me, no. If it's not, if it's not of top notch quality, it's not going anywhere. I won't do it. I won't send it out. Okay. The thing is, one of the things that I like to do is I love reading reviews on Etsy, but I don't just go for the 5 stars. When I go to Etsy and I do my product research, okay, which is part of my research, I am looking for the bad reviews. There's a reason why I like reading the bad reviews. I want to know what is it that are important to customers. Did they not ship the item in the proper packaging? Maybe they got the item and it was damaged. Maybe they thought they were going to get something and the description wasn't right, right? There was some kind, the expectation, right? They saw the product and they saw the listing. They had a certain expectation. Then when they got the item, it wasn't exactly what they wanted. The quality. Sometimes people will put down and say, it looked great on the picture, but then when I got the item, it felt very thin. The quality felt cheap, whatever, right? You got to remember these are reviews of people that actually spent their money, right? Um, but I like to read that because and the reason, and there's a reason why. When you start reading these type of reviews and you start becoming familiar with some of the concerns that the customers out there have, then what you can do is you can learn from the mistakes of others. It's a perfect opportunity. If you see that someone got a bad review because they didn't package the item well, that tells you that you have to ensure that when you are selling your items and you're packaging them up for shipping, you want to make sure you protect them, and you want to make sure that when the customer gets that item, it's well intact. Because the last thing you want is for that a customer to come out and say, "Cute item, but it showed up broken." You know. Also, if you see that someone wrote a bad review because they felt that something looked like it was cheaply made, it could be also that the expectation did was not met, right? So I would look at the review that the customer left, then I would go to the product listing, and I would read the description and see how could and I would ask myself, how could the shop owner have avoided this issue? Right? Did they not describe the product correctly? Right? Did maybe they should have put down that this is cotton or knitted or stretchy knit or something like that. Maybe they should have been more descriptive and stuff like that. Learn from other people's mistakes. Okay, to me, that's the cheap way to learn lessons. Okay. It's not to gloat and go, ha, they got it. No, it's not about that. Because just like that shop may have gotten that 1 or 2 star or even 3 star review, that could easily happen to you, right? So there's two types of lessons in the world. Sometimes you're hard head, you got to learn the hard way. But to me, this is a way you can learn the easy way by looking to see some of the reviews. Now, another thing, like for those of you guys that do sublimation, something to consider. Okay. I remember reading a couple of reviews of shirts regarding sublimation, and people were some people had wrote some bad reviews saying that they bought the product, they liked the shirt, but once they washed it, the colors bled or something like that, right? It just didn't come out too good. And then I also saw something on embroidery where they said, oh, the shirt was embroidered and it was beautiful, and then once I washed it, it was all crunched up and stuff like that. So when I saw that, what went through my mind was, oh, how could the seller had avoided such a thing? So to me, it's like care instructions. That's how you avoid that. You can put care instructions right on the listing and say, this is an embroidered product. If you buy it, this is how you should properly care for it. Or you can do like what I do, which is whenever I sell items, I put this in my listing, okay? And it actually provides information on how to care for embroidered items. So, that way people know how to care for their items, right? Because sometimes people don't know. People just don't know, okay? And maybe they just didn't wash the shirt correctly, or, it could have been maybe the ink was poor quality. It could have been that maybe the design was so dense that it shouldn't have been embroidered on that type of material. I don't know. But the thing is, I look at the reviews, and and kind of gives you an indication of some of the concerns that people have out there for certain products. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you just, when you're doing your product research, look at the reviews of certain products, especially if those are products that you're offering as well, so that you can make sure that you meet the expectations of your customers out there. You don't want to end up with a bad review in your shop, because believe me, that's kind of like your reputation, right? And a lot of times, ask for those reviews, ask for them. Okay. You would be surprised that, customers, especially customers that you have that bought your product, that love the product and are excited about it and stuff, they would love to leave you a 5-star review. And when people look at your shop, and that they when your shop first shows up, it actually has the number of sales, and then it has the number of reviews. The higher number of reviews that you have, the most likely that customers are going to trust your shop when they go to buy, because they're going to be like, oh, this person got a lot of sales, and they got a lot of satisfied customers. So it says something, right? So it's just something to think about. Okay. Now, number 11, which is one that's probably going to cause a lot of controversy right now, but I'm just going to say it, okay? Stay away from copyright issues, okay? It's a lot of people get a lot of problems with this, okay? There are a lot of like Disney, Harry Potter, and all that stuff. Stay away from it. I stay away. If you want to gamble, go ahead, do your thing, whatever. I stay away from it. And the reason why I stay away from it is because that is one quick way to end your career on Etsy, because Etsy will crack down, and they may not find you today. They may not find you tomorrow. You may not be found out next month, or maybe in next 5 or 6 months, but one day your luck might run out. And when it runs out, you're not going to be happy. Okay. And this is really my take on the whole thing. Okay. Be creative. Okay. When you make a sale because of something that you thought of, that you designed, that you did on your own, let me tell you something. That's a pretty good feeling, especially when somebody buys it from you and then they leave you a 5-star review. That's like a high to me. Okay. When you sell something because it's a Disney thing or Harry Potter thing, I'm not saying that, you didn't make it. You kind of did. But the thing is, you're writing off of the popularity of somebody else, right? So what ends up happening is a lot of times people bought it because of, that entity, right? But when you make something on your own, there was no entity, right? You made it. And it's a good feeling when people buy from you because it was you. So it's just, to me, it's just, that's how I feel about it. Copyright can be a very serious problem for you too. Okay. You can get sued. Okay. It's not fun. I would not place myself in that position, but that's just me. Some people have no problem with it, but I just stay away from it, period. When I buy my embroidery designs, I make sure that they're designs that I can use to sell and create products. Okay. If I see that there's a design out there that has a copyright on it, I will buy it if I'm going to use it to gift it to someone. Okay. I don't buy it to sell it. I don't do that. Because it's a gamble and I'm not willing to take that. You can call me a chicken. I don't care. That's just how I roll. Okay. I just don't do it. So, me personally, I see a lot of people out there. Sometimes they do it. I've even seen some shops become kind of successful doing it. I did hear about one lady that I think she was doing something, but she was using, I think it was like Harry Potter fabric or something like that. And she was selling a lot. And then what had happened was Etsy reached out and they actually shut down her shop. And it was kind of like a blessing in disguise for her too, because she talked about it and she said that she was actually ready to quit her daytime job just to do the Etsy shop. And thank goodness she did not quit her daytime job, because it's like out of nowhere, they just shut her down. You don't want to be in that position. You don't want to be in that position, and you don't want to be in a position where, you're having a good time and you're enjoying doing what you're doing. And then all of a sudden you get hit with a lawsuit or something like that. That's not fun. So stay away from it. That's just my opinion of it. Even though sometimes people will reach out to me, they'll be like, oh, but no, I stay away from it. I don't bother it. I don't touch it. It's not my thing. If it's yours, okay, do it, whatever. Not me. But that's number 11. Okay. So as you guys know, it is 9 o'clock, just like I promised. I gave you all 11 of things, the common mistakes that Etsy shop owners make. I'm just going to run them down real quick. Okay. First one was shop appearance. Second one was your product photos. Third one, your shop story. Fourth, your listings. 5, advertising your shop on social media. Okay. Don't rely on Etsy to do it for you. Okay. They're only doing some of the work. You still got to do more work on your own. 6, analyze the performance of your shop. Okay. 7, product research. Okay. And not just when I'm talking about product research, make sure that you're researching everything. Okay. How to list it, how to describe it, how much you should charge for it. Make sure you look at reviews too. Okay. Because when you're offering certain products, you want to make sure you don't mess up. Okay. Especially on the delivery, because you want to make sure you have a good rapport with your customers. Number 9, not managing your inventory correctly. Okay, that can mess you up. You don't want orders coming in, then you can't fill them. Number 10, not reaching out to customers and asking for your reviews. Okay, you want your reviews. That's what's going to really attract more customers to your shop, because when they see that you have a high star, review, like if you're a star seller or something like that, people will buy from you. And then the last one, which I know is not very popular by a lot of people, because some people do it, and I won't do it. I don't touch it, is the copyright issues. Don't do it. Just me. I won't do it. Won't touch it. And this is how I look at it also. And I don't mean to be mean, okay, but I just want to be honest with you guys. When you do copyright, right? When you're copying from other people, stuff like that, that's kind of like a lazy way, right? To me, that's kind of lazy, right? You want to be successful on your own. That's what's important, that you become successful on your own. People that copy don't really last very long, because they don't really, it's not their niche. They don't really have their niche. They're just looking for a fast couple of bucks. That's all they're looking for. But when you have someone who is creating stuff because they really love creating, and they found their niche, okay, and they are selling and all that kind of stuff, those are the ones that you're going to see be very successful, and they're going to be sticking around because they're doing their thing. There's no copy. This is their thing. They're in their zone, okay? And it's unique and it's really cool and everything. So it's like, don't sometimes, you can cheat the system so much, you can only get so far, but, don't be pissed off when, when stuff starts to hit the fan, then you're like, ooh, okay, so you can only ride, for so long. And then, and sometimes when you crash, it may not be a good crash. So sometimes the crash could be gentle and sometimes it could be rough. So I would say just avoid it. That's just me. Okay. That's how I roll. So, yeah, so these are the 11 that I came up with. I don't know if you guys have any of your own that you feel that Etsy owners, shop owners make mistakes that they make, but if you do, put them in the comment. That'll be pretty cool. So anyway, I am going to go down the chat because I want to say hi to you guys and stuff. Hey, Miss Max, how are you? I saw you earlier. Man, you've been up till 2:30 a.m. Man, Cafe Bustelo. That'll keep you up now. Hey, Miss Fisher, how are you? Hey, Marlene, how you doing? Oh, back from Hawaii vacation. I saw all your pictures and I thought you lived there and stuff because I saw you going to all the golf courses. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? Hey, Becky, how are you? Hey, Sassy, how you doing? Hey, Miss Holland, how are you? Angela and Stitches, I see Miss Hills. Hey, Maggie. Hey, Pretty Eyes, how are you? Debbie, Julie, Karen, Classy and Caffeinated, how you doing? Cracky Puerto Rican, how are you? Hey, Leslie, I see Iris is on there, and Donna and Peggy. Let's see. Going to Fredericksburg Expo, took surgery classes a few years ago. And this year, I am taking all surgery classes. I signed up for 4. Okay, so this is the first time I'm taking classes at the expo. So I'm going to be there all 3 days. And last Tuesday, Miss Shirley did her live. And I know that Miss Shirley had mentioned that people are going to be there. They're going to be staying in a hotel. I think they're going to leave Saturday morning or something like that. So probably, most likely, we'll probably meet like maybe Friday night because I definitely got to meet Miss Shirley because I want to take a picture with Miss Shirley. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to be bringing my wine and all that kind of stuff. So we got to hang. So, yeah. So I think we're going to do something on a Friday and stuff. But as we get closer, we'll come up with a place to meet and something. And then maybe we could, like, I don't know, grab something quick to eat and stuff like that and just hang out and stuff like that and have fun and everything like that. So hopefully I get to see you there, Leslie, and stuff. So I will, on the Facebook group, me and Miss Shirley will work out. We'll find a spot where we can all meet and stuff like that. So that way we can all just hang and have a good time and stuff. Hey, Joanne, how you doing? Hey, Kim, how are you? Oh, Gainesville, you are my neighbor, girl. I used to live in Bristol. 1999, before all the Giant and all that stuff came out. And then 2011, I came to Haymarket and stuff. So yeah, oh my God, you're so super close to me. I hope you're going to the Sew and Quilt Expo too. Hey, Joanna, how you doing? Hey, Allison, how are you? Oh, Miss Max, embroidery is expensive without a doubt, but when you love it, you do. And I know, and I love embroidery. I'm telling you, everybody knows it. I can, turn on these machines day and night. And it's funny because when I embroider stuff for my local customers, a lot of times what happens is like, they'll be like, oh, well, how long is it going to take? If they're thinking that I'm going to tell them, oh, it's going to take about a week or 2 weeks. And I'm like, in a day or two, whatever. But, I usually say like a day or 2, just in case, right? Because you never know if something could happen, right? But no, like today I had a lady had a backpack and she wanted her daughter's name, Cooper, on it. And, she bought it and I literally did it within like 15 minutes, So I kind of felt bad in a way because it's like, as soon as she drove off, I came up and I was like, oh, let me just hook it up. And then I just hooked it up and it was just a simple name. And I wasn't sure about how to hoop it, but it hooped fine. And I was able to embroider the name on the bag and it came out beautiful. So it was like after 15 minutes, I texted her and said, oh, ready for pickup. So yeah, but I can embroider all the time. But yeah, I mean, it's expensive. This maxi art, it is very, very true. Very, very expensive. And a tutorial happy hour session on how to customize your Etsy shop would be so helpful. I could do that, I guess. Let me think about that, Angela, and see. Because the thing is, it's not something that you do all the time, but you know what? It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Maybe I could. Let me think about that, Angela. I'll and then I'll see how I can do that and stuff, because like, I like my videos to be very informative, to help people and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to like start the video and go, well, I think you click here and you think you click there, and then I'm like, no, it's not there, it's this, and nope, that didn't work. But Angela, I'm gonna write that down, and I will let's see how to what? Oh, customize. Okay, customize Etsy. Okay. Let me see what I can come up with, okay? And stuff. So that way I'll see what I can do. I still have a bunch of videos I got to do for you guys too, and everything. But like I said, I like to do the videos when it's nice and quiet in the house, because that way there's no interruptions and I can take my time, because you got to position the camera all the time and everything. So I don't like any noises in the background. And I kind of like it when the house feels still, because then I can really focus and stuff. So anyway, but okay. Hey, Annette, how are you? Leslie says photos should answer every question. Yep, I like that. Photos should answer every question a prospective buyer may have when you sell something. Absolutely, Leslie. I totally agree. It's like the photos is so important. It really is. And this is the thing, but this is really the bottom line, guys, that this is how I look at it. I know it's not the most favorite thing to do, right? Because I know, to me, it kind of like it kind of sucks, right? Because like, I do Administrative Friday, right? I hate the administrative side of running an embroidery business. It's not my thing. I'm telling you, it's not my thing. But you got to do it. You have to do it. So if you really think about it, setting up the shop, customizing it, doing all the listings, taking the pictures, it's not exactly my favorite thing to do either. But you have to do it, and you have to put the time into it, because that is the first look that the customer gets about you, your shop, and your products. So you have to take the time to do it. Okay. I love embroidery. Okay. So hooping stuff, stabilizing it, creating an embroidery file, sticking it in the machine, changing the threads, and embroidering something, no problem. I could do that all day. Okay. All day. No problem. All right. But this is part of the administrative side of running a business. Okay. Like, just, going on QuickBooks and making sure that all my invoices are up to date, and making sure that the money's straight, making sure that I'm buying supplies, the inventory and stuff, making sure that when I buy stuff, I have the receipts and I'm uploading the receipts in QuickBooks. I have an accountant. She comes in every four months. She looks at my QuickBooks, so she could tell right off the bat when I got lazy, boy. She will call me out and say, okay, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. I'm like, yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's the administrative side, but you have to do it. You have to do it. And the thing is, when it comes to the pictures and the appearance of your Etsy shop, you got to remember that is the first time your customer sees you. That's the first time. So you got to make it count, make it right. You know what I'm saying? So I know it sucks, but we got to do it. We got to do it, and stuff. Let's see. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Rita. How are you? Hey, Evelyn. Good night, Jeanette. And to the viewing embroider enthusiasts. Hey, Miss Crochet, I get the same message on my reviews. They say it looks exactly like the picture. That will definitely get you a 5 star. Absolutely. That's why, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not saying don't use markups, but what I'm saying is make sure that if you do that, that it's really giving a true vision of what that customer is going to see when they open up that box and that package. Okay. You want the colors, you want everything to be the same. That is so important. Just like Kenny's saying right in there. I mean, I get that all the time. It looks exactly like the picture. It looks exactly like the picture. I mean, that's the review you want, because that way the customer felt good. They had confidence. And trust me, that customer, because they got exactly what they bargained for, they're going to be a repeat customer. And they have no problems referring your shop to other buyers, because they're going to say, "Oh yeah, this is the shop. It's exactly what she shows is exactly what you're going to get." Very, very, very important. Hey, Marlena, how are you? Marlena, I'm too afraid to open and list anything. I'm so nervous about tax and business reporting. Well, Marlena, one of the things you just learn, take baby steps. That's all. Just take baby steps. And this is the other thing too. When it comes to Etsy, Marlena, Etsy sends you a 1099 at the end of the year. Okay, and the 1099, you just put it in your taxes, and you just keep track of your expenses. So you don't have to start like big right off the bat. You take little baby steps and stuff. That's how I did it. As you start to grow, you start learning stuff about, when you're doing things on Etsy also, they collect the sales tax for you, right? Now, when you start selling locally, you have to collect sales tax, right? And because I collect sales tax, I also get exemption of sales tax when I buy blanks, right? So when I go and I buy stuff from certain companies, they don't charge me sales tax. But when I sell my items locally and I invoice my customers, I have to invoice them and charge them the sales tax. And then every month I have to send a check to the state of Virginia to pay my sales tax of the money that I collected. Now, I don't have to collect, well, I do collect the sales tax on Etsy, but Etsy collects it for you, and it pays it for you and stuff like that. So, and another thing too, Monia, that you can do is, you could take a business class. Sometimes if you go to a community college and stuff like that, sometimes they offer business classes. Like, I know right now I'm looking to see where can I take like classes regarding marketing and social media. Sometimes community colleges, they have little classes that you can sign up for and you can take. So don't to me, I look at it as, don't be afraid. Okay, it's not that you're afraid. It's just that right now you don't know, right? So when you don't know, then okay, well, fine, you go and you learn. Okay, so what I would do is say, okay, this is something that I want to adventure into, and I'm not sure about it, so where can I go so that I can learn about it? And another thing too is, there are people out there, like, you can get help. Like, I hire people to help me. Okay, so I actually have someone to help me with my books. I actually have someone that helps me with my taxes every year, and those are people that will help teach you and stuff like that. So don't let fear stop you from accomplishing dreams. Okay, because fear can be something that can really hamper a lot of people from it. Don't ever be afraid of it. Mistakes are going to happen. That's life. Okay, and when mistakes happen, you learn from it and you grow from it, and you just keep going. It's no big deal. Okay, but if you have fear, then you stay frozen, and when you stay frozen, you don't move anywhere. You're not progressing. So it's like, it's okay to be cautious, but don't be cautious where you're to the point where it's stopping you, right? Okay, it's like you know you want to do things, and of course you want to do things, but you want to do them right. So start looking for things on how you can do things to do them right. I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, um, let's see, let's see. Hey Wanda, how are you? Um, let's see. Hey Kathy, how you doing? Hey Kay, how are you? Hey Uplitonson. Hey Tammy, how you doing? I see Marsha. Keep your photos. Yup. Keep your photos clear. Hey Jackie, how are you? Hey Kim. Let me see. Let's see. Which island did you go to? I'm off to Kauai. Oh, you guys talking about Hawaii. And so, let me see. Okay. Here's a good question, Tammy. Is there a possibility of overloading your shop? It can overwhelm. It overwhelm your possible customers? Okay. Now, Tammy, this is my question. Are you overwhelming the customers, or are you going to be overwhelming you? Okay, this is another thing too. And I'm glad you brought this question up, because let's explore this for a little bit. Um, if you have a lot of listings out there, I don't think that's overwhelming for a customer. What you're doing is you're providing a lot of options for a customer, which I think is great. However, though, depending on your shop and how you are staffed, okay, you could be overwhelming you, for the simple fact that you have to ask yourself, let's say you have 50 listings, right? And they all are best sellers. And every week you're getting like 50, 100 orders, right? Are you going to be able to manage 150 orders? You know what I mean? I mean, so you have to kind of balance it. You want to be able to offer as many options available to your customers, but at the same time, you want to be able to manage the orders that come in. So that's also part of your listings. Like an example would be like quantities, right? Sometimes what'll happen is you can have a listing and you can put 100 quantities. I usually don't do that. I'll usually, like, if I have a standard kitchen towel that's not personalized or anything like that, if it's my best seller, then what I'll do is I will, or a towel that I sell a lot, right? Then I know that it always sells. It has a good reputation of selling. I'll usually embroider like 10 of them, and then I just have them on the shelf. And then what I do is on that listing, I'll put, how many do I have available? 10. And then every time I sell it, I already have it. So I don't have to embroider it. All I have to do is take it off the shelf, package it, and ship it out. However, though, if I have someone that wanted that particular towel personalized, there's just no way that I could have had that on the shelf already, because it's personalized, right? But usually those are the listings that I usually keep at like 5 or 6 or something like that. That way I'm not overwhelming me, because I'm the only one that works this shop. Nobody else works it but me. Okay. You know, I'm the one that does the administration stuff. I'm the one that does all the upkeep on the books. I'm the one that does the embroidery. I'm the one that keeps the track. I mean, I don't have anybody. Okay. And I do this channel, and I still work full time. So I have to make sure that I'm very careful on how the inventory is going to be flowing and stuff like that. So can it be overwhelming for the customers? For the customers, no. For the simple fact that they see what they like, they pay for it, they get it. That's what it is. Whom to me, we should be thinking about who's going to be overwhelmed is the shop owner. Because if we're talking true handmade, it means you got to make it. Okay. So, and this is another thing too, not just quantity. Think about your processing times. That can help you. Okay. If you offer a lot of options and stuff like that, and you don't have stuff that are pre-made that you could sell, then look at the processing time. Make sure that you set them up so that you have plenty of time to actually create the item and ship it out. Okay. Don't come out and put the listing and say, hey, it'll ship in a day. No, because what's going to happen is, if let's say that day you got 20 sales, you're going to be up all night, embroidering 20 kitchen towels or 20 dinner napkins and stuff like that. No. So what I would do is take advantage of those processing times. All right. And then what you can do is you can organize your orders so that you can make sure that you have a good flow. Okay. So I hope that helped a little bit with your question and stuff. Come, Marlene. Customers speak with their wallets, and if they like it, they buy it. If not, it stays closed. But metrics for what you should make. Best metrics for what you should make. That's true. That is so true, Marlene. That is kind of funny, though. I kind of like that. They speak with their wallets. I like that line. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Marsha said, is it normal for people running a boutique to require pictures of every item they want to sell before they confirm a booth? I don't carry a inventory. Oh, I never did a booth. I know Marlene does. Marlene, she sells on a booth, and I have a girlfriend that sells on a booth in Maryland as well and stuff. I know that with my girlfriend that sells in Maryland, one of the things is to get a booth, you have to have a business license where she's at. And also you don't provide photos or anything like that of the stuff that she's going to sell in her booth, but she does have to fill out an application to talk about the things that she's planning on selling and stuff like that. So they have to approve that, and stuff. So that's what they do. I have never done a flea market and all that. I know my mother-in-law, she has a shop in South Carolina. She's got like a corner shop, but it's at a flea market and everything. And I remember I talked to her about the embroidery there. And she was telling me that it wouldn't be a good idea for the embroidery to be there, because she said a lot of her customers, when they go there, they just want to buy stuff that's only $1, $2, something like that. And I'm not gonna be selling my embroidery for no dollar. I'd be like, there's no way that's gonna happen. Hey, baby giant, how are you? Okay, Kim asks, speaking of the baby, speaking of bobbins, do you only use white, or do you also I get black as well, Kim? Yes. Now, I usually use the white. However, let me let you know when I use my black bobbins. Let's say that I have the material is very dark material, or like an apron, right? I have black aprons. So for the black apron, I'll use a black bobbin. Okay. If I have dinner napkins that I embroider that are black, okay, and sometimes what it is it's black and they want like gold, whatever color on the front, I'll use a black bobbin for black dinner napkins as well and stuff. So for that, I don't use black a lot, so I usually have about like just 3 or 4 boxes of black bobbins. And but the bobbin that I use mostly is the white color. I use that one a lot. Hey Teresa, how are you? Let's see. I see you guys have a little side conversation here. Okay. Yep, Angela says, see, using copyright designs, not worth the risk. It really isn't. It is not worth the risk at all. And then look, they send out spotters and you'll end up in court. Design your own stuff. It's true. It is. I'm telling you guys. I mean, it's not. I notice too, a lot of times some people, like, they'll do the Disney stuff, or they'll do like the Harry Potter, or all this copyright stuff. It's really for an easy sell. That's all it is, really. You know what I'm saying? Because people, you're using that entity to make that sale. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, it's not really a good feeling if you were to do that, because to me, it's like you're selling that. You didn't really sell something unique, right? So it's you do your stuff. I'm telling you, the feeling of selling something that you made, okay, that feels good. That really, really feels good. You know, so I wouldn't do it. Hey Ozzy, how are you? Um, let's see. Hey Becky, how you doing? Where's Mello tonight? You know where? Let me tell you where this supervisor is. Look at that. See, there he is. Mello, Mello. Oh, he moved. He moved a little bit. Mello, they ask about you. You want to say hi, Mello? Boo boo. You want to say hi? He ain't moving. He ain't moving. I'm telling you, I think he's gonna start putting in his retirement papers. I don't know. It's like, what's wrong with you, Mello? You don't want to say hi? I guess he doesn't want to say hi. He's just sleeping. He's just sleeping. And stuff. Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you? Let's see. Dog sitting, mini golden doodle. Becky, I tell you, golden doodles are the best. I tell you, I love it. But no, Mello is not a mini though. He's a standard, 85 pounds and stuff. Hey Becky, yep, good advice for any show. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you like the advice. Hey Arlene, how you doing? Hey Maggie. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the advice and stuff. Oh, any thoughts on Brothers updated embroidery machines? I did do a video, Christian, on the SC 2000 versus the SC 1900. I did do that. I did see that Brother is coming up with upgraded machines. It's really the same line, but they just upgraded it and stuff. Um, you know, honestly, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to going to the expo, because I'm sure at the expo, Brother is going to be there. And when Brother's there, I'm going to be trying out those machines. Okay, so and that's going to be fun. I am looking forward to it, to see that. And so, especially the big ones. I think they upgraded I think it's the Stellaire or something like that, or the Stellulaire, or you guys know what I mean. The big one. I'm excited about it, but then I'm afraid to touch it, because it's like you get that itch that you want it. And I gotta be honest, Christian, if I bring another machine in this house, I think my husband is gonna have a cow. He's gonna be like, Jeanette. I mean, it's like I don't need any more machines. But I would like to get another multi-needle machine. And I don't know what I'll probably end up getting. Right now, I'm not going to do anything. I got both of these, and they seem to be working fine for the volume that I have. So I think I'll stick with what I have for now. I probably maybe will get one next year. I'm not too sure. We'll see. We'll just see and stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those machines and stuff. Miss Shirley said, yep, that's so cool. I want to meet you too. Yes, we're leaving Saturday, not too early, but it's so that we'll be back. Yep. And I don't like driving at night. I don't. When I drive from here to Florida to visit my mom, what I usually do is I leave super early in the morning from here, and then I go to Savannah, Georgia, and I go to the airport there, because they have the Tesla superchargers there, and I charge up my car there, and then I always stay at a hotel there. And I like staying there because I get to that hotel before it starts to get dark. So it's plenty of time for me to go grab dinner and then go to the hotel and just relax. And then I'll just get up in the morning, early in the morning, and then I hit the road again to finish off the trip to Homestead to visit my mom and stuff like that. But I don't like driving at night either, so I don't blame you, Miss Shirley. But we will definitely meet up. Definitely, definitely. We're gonna have to, because you guys are leaving on Saturday. Yeah, I agree. Then we'll try to figure something out for like Friday or something like that. Okay. Hey, Mary Lou. Oh, that's so cute. She just got her machine. Congratulations. I know you're loving it. I still love mine too. See, my baby's right there, right behind me. See, right there. Right there, that's my boo-boo. And I'm going to be doing, as you can see, I have a little hat there next to it. Okay. I have the embroidery bed attached to it. My plans for tomorrow is that I am going to actually embroider my bucket hat with my SC1900. I am going to videotape it too, so you guys can see exactly how I do it. And yeah, I'm excited. What I want to do with my bucket hat is I bought a bunch of designs of like, needles and thread and thread spools. It's going to be like my sewing bucket hat. That's the theme that I want for my sewing hat. So I'm going to be working on that tomorrow, and I will videotape it so you guys can see how I do it and what mistakes I make, if I make any. Hopefully I don't, but if I do, I'm gonna live with that mistake and wear that hat with pride and stuff. And maybe I'll wear it at the Expo. That'll be my sewing hat or something, Or if not, maybe I'll do a baseball hat. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to come up with something and stuff. But congratulations on your SC1900. I know you're gonna have so much fun with that machine and stuff. It is one of my favorites. Now, did I have all the chats? I think I went down all the chats. Yeah. Oh, Ozzy says he uses Facebook to promote his products. And that's another thing too, guys, that you can do. Facebook Marketplace, you can go ahead and you can actually create listings in Facebook Marketplace as well also, and sell products through there too if you want to. So, that's another option that you do. When using the 60 weight thread, do you use the bobbin? I don't change the weight of my bobbin at all, Peggy, when I'm using 60 weight thread. I believe the weight on my bobbin is 60 weight as well. Let me double check. Hold on. Mello, can you move, poo-poo? Okay, hold on. I want to check. Doesn't say. Man, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. Hold on. Let me see if I could search it, and then I can tell you what kind of weight this thread is. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to look in the computer real quick. But I believe that what I am using is 60 weight for the bobbin thread. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4. Magnetic. Hold on. I'm going to tell you right now. Magnetic bobbin thread weight. Okay, hold on. It is. What isn't anybody saying? Nobody says anything. They don't say. It's 60. It is 60. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you see that? Did you just growl at me? Oh, he growled at me. Why are you mad? Oh my goodness. You mad at me? Why? Oh my goodness. Needed to make his debut. So Peggy, before you bite me, you gonna bite me? Oh my God. Okay, so it's 60 weight. And the bobbin that I use is 60 weight. And I don't change the bobbin at all. The only thing I change is my top thread. And I use the 60 weight when I'm using the small fonts. And it's not just small fonts either. The other, I have a video out there where I was working on a patch. And in the video, I don't actually do the patch, but I hold the patch and I kind of describe to you when I use what type of weight in what spot. Look at the way he's looking at me. What? He's giving me the evil eye. Did you see that? What? What? Oh my God. I'm working. Oh my God. Anyway, he's distracting me. You're too cute. Anyway, what do you call it? So sometimes it's not just small fonts that you want to use 60 weight in. Sometimes if you're working on a design like a patch, and let's say that there's a certain portion of the design, and it doesn't have to be a patch, but whatever it is, and let's say that you need it to be very detailed, right? In that particular section of your design, you could use a 60 weight also if you really want that detail to stand out. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit. Let me see. Looking forward to your bucket hat video. Yeah, I am. This is gonna be like really cool. What type of brand do you use? I'm thinking about ordering. I use candle threads. I use Christian. I use Brother Reed. I use Sim Thread. I use Madeira. I've used Glide. I use Floria. Floria. Well, the one with the F that's shiny. I don't have any handy, but this one. Hold on. Okay, so I can show you. These are nice. This brand. Sorry. I know there's a glare. There's a glare. Okay, that one. I use that one. I like this one because it's shiny. So this is like really good for like when you're doing Christmas, right? If you're doing dinner napkins or like Christmas designs. Sometimes there's certain areas on your Christmas designs that you want it to pop, okay, and you want to look nice and shiny. Then I like to use this thread for that. Madeira I use a lot, but I've used candle thread. Candle thread is a good thread, and they're very reasonably priced, okay, and stuff. So that is a good brand. I've used it. I bought a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I got a lot of different threads all over the place and stuff. So yeah, pronounce Flori and Floriani. Floriani. That's how you take Floriani. For this. You guys, you know my Spanglish. Florinai or something like that. Oh, I don't know. Karen, thanks for trying to help though. All right, guys. Oh, this is kind of like a short happy hour and stuff because I gave you all the information. Went through the chat pretty good and stuff like that. I think we are good, guys. I think we are good. So I'm going to call it the night and stuff because it looks like everybody's pretty good on the chat and stuff. I answered all you guys' questions. Oh, there you go. Will you be making? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Rivera. I didn't see your your thing in here. Oh, nope, not that one. I'm sorry. I skipped you. I'm sorry. Will you be making more videos on what you learned? Yes, I do. I am planning on doing it. How to thread my surgery, which oh, I'm glad you like that. Yes, Ms. Rivera, I do plan on making more videos on the surgery because when I go to the expo, all the classes that I took is on sergers, and I have my list right here. Let me tell you, I'm going to show you the classes that I'm going to be going to, okay? And I should be super smart on the sergers when I get back, okay? I'm getting Serger 911, Essential Serger Skills, Understanding the Anatomy of Your Serger, and then I even took a project class, which is 5 zippers, 5 bags, 1 serger. So after taking all these classes, I plan on making videos on stuff to use your serger on, things about that I learned about the machine. And I'm hoping that they teach me about, the different functions of the serger, like, the stitch, how to adjust stitch length and all that kind of stuff. When, I know how to do the roll hem, and I do have a video, Miss Rivera, on the channel on doing a rolled hem with your serger. But I want to learn about, because the serger comes with all these other like feet and accessories and stuff like that. I want to learn about how do you use all those accessories too. You know what I'm saying? How do you use, when do you use the other feet? The type of stitching that you can do. When should you use what type of stitching with what? And I want to start doing projects with the serger because I got 2 sergers. I better, I better learn how to use them. Now, I was talking with Miss Banks, and she kind of laughed at me because, Joanne sells patterns, right? And I started to go there and started buying patterns when they were on sale for $1.99, right? So this is the pattern that I use to make this, right? This little bag. And I was like, oh, this is cute, So I started buying these patterns. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to start buying patterns for to make shirts, like little tops and everything like that. So that way I can use my serger. Now, one of the things that I share with Miss Banks is one of the things that I hear people say is preserve your patterns, especially when it comes to clothes. Because, when you have the clothes for the patterns, it has the different sizes like small, medium, large, and extra large, right? So I bought tracing paper. So what I did was I laid out the pattern on the floor, and then I put the tracing paper on top, and then I started to trace out the pattern, for the size that I needed and all the different pieces. One of the things that I told Ms. Banks was, by the time I finished tracing out all those patterns, and then I started to cut the patterns from the tracing paper, right? I was tired. And I was like, this is a lot of work. And what went through my mind was, I was like, $1.99 for the pattern. Okay. Now I probably spent like half the day tracing the pattern and cutting it out. And then I haven't even cut out my fabric yet. And then after I cut out the fabric, then I got to sew it together. I'm like, you know what? You could buy a shirt sometimes from Walmart for like $4.99, $5.99. So I'm like, what are you doing, Jeanette? But I want to make my own clothes. So I am determined to do it. So I didn't buy, I only bought I think I bought 2 patterns. Oh, thank you, Joanne, for the super chat. Where can you find 60 weight thread? Joanne, the best place to go, honestly, allstitch.com. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you go there, right, and look under where you get the thread, you actually see 60 weight thread, and they have all the colors. They have all the colors you can pick from. It's very difficult to find 60 weight thread on other sites. Allstitch.com. I have a link to it on the video description. That's where you should go. And you could find the colors. And what's really great that I like about them is that they have the color in 60 weight, and then they have it in 40 weight. So, there are times when you're going to need 40 weight and then 60 weight. I have a design for a women's club, and when I do their shirts, I have to use the red, and I need it in both weights and stuff. So, but that's the best place to go, because I like how organized they are, and you're not going all over the place looking for the thread. You're not. So yeah. Oh, Karen just gave me a little tip. Oh my goodness. I don't think I'm using freezer paper. If you use freezer paper to trace your pattern pieces, with the freezer paper shiny side down, will iron on your material many times. I think think I may know what you're talking about. I'm not sure, Karen. I'm not using freezer paper though. What I did was I went on Amazon and I just bought like a roll of just regular tracing paper. And then what I'm doing is with the tracing paper, oh, it's reusable. Oh, okay. Well, I just been using this, a Sharpie pen, and then I just trace the design, and then I just take a scissor and then I just cut it. And I have one right here to show you. See? And it's thin, and then what I've been doing is I just been using my thing and then I just cut it. Now, I want to tell you something. I like the sewing patterns when it comes to like little projects like this. I think this is like really, really cool. However, I am finding that when it comes to the clothes, that's a lot of work. I mean, it really is. And you know what I learned the hard way? Use fabric weights. This is what I usually do. Okay. For fabric weights, at first when I was cutting fabric, okay, from a template, right, I was just putting the paper down and then I was just using my hand, right, and then I was just like tracing. One of the things that I learned real quick is you need fabric weights, because sometimes when you're tracing and if you're holding it down, you can accidentally, without even knowing it, you can move the piece of paper, and then next thing you know, you're not cutting it exactly to your pattern, right? So I went online and I was looking at fabric weights, right? Because they have some really cute ones and stuff, but they can cost kind of a lot of money and stuff like that. So I was just like, ooh, But this is what I did, and I seen other people do this too. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and they have these washers, okay? Dirt cheap. I think they're like, maybe like 20 cents or something. And you could even get them by a box if you want, right? But you really don't need that many. I mean, I just bought a handful. This wasn't really a box, but I bought a handful, right? So I got this is all I have. So I just got a whole bunch. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 14. Okay. So, these work great. Okay. As for fabric weights, I mean, they got cute ones. Some people like they'll create fabric, they'll take like little fabric, and they'll like pour some rice in it, to add some little weight and stuff like that. But I was using my hand, and I noticed that when you cut the fabric, when you're using your hand, you can accidentally like shift the pattern, right? Because it's so light. With I mean, I'm telling you, get these cheap, dirt cheap. I mean, if you want the fancy ones, you can get them. But to me, it's like this works. I just take this, I put this on the fabric, and then I throw these on top, and then I just take the rotary cutter and I just go around it, and it works great. I mean, and it doesn't cost much. You know what I'm saying? Save your money for embroidery thread and bobbin thread and stuff like that, and embroidery designs and that kind of stuff. Spend your money on that and stuff. For fabric weights and stuff, go to Home Depot or Lowe's or hardware store and say, hey, where are your large washers? And then just get a handful of those, and you're good to go. That perfect works. It works great and stuff. But yeah, I am going to do videos on the serger, so don't worry about that and stuff. But I see what Karen is trying to say. Oh, and Angela says she uses marine vinyl that she buys from Amazon for pattern templates. But that could get expensive, can it? Because isn't marine vinyl expensive? Another thing that my sister does, and this she does, and she got me doing it, which was a good idea. Let me show you. She went to the dollar store, right? And she bought these cutting mats, right? And they're like they're clear. They're clear cutting mats, and they're plastic, right? So what she did was she told me, she said, get these, and it works. This is really good. She said, get this, and then you just take this, and you would take your pattern and then just trace it on here. And because it's plastic, it's real sturdy. And then that way you don't have like, paper and stuff like that. But the paper works for me, it kind of does. So it's like, it's like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, I would do this. Like I would ask for a plastic template if it's something that I'm going to make a lot, right? I'm going to reuse that template a lot. And I don't want to accidentally, because one thing with the paper is you can accidentally take the rotary cutter and accidentally cut the paper by mistake, But you can kind of cut this too, I guess, if you really think about it. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, but there's a lot of times people do different things for the patterns and stuff. But yeah, this is the thing but you iron the pattern on and there's no need to pin and then cut your material. So I guess that's what she's saying. She's saying you take the pattern and you're ironing it on and you don't have to pin it. Oh. See, I'm going to look that up, Karen, because I think I have an idea of what you're trying to say, but I don't know. I mean, I need to see it. I'm a visual learner, visual. So, I don't know. Hey, Gail, how are you? And let me see. Marina says, I use those plastic choppings to store and stick my rhinestone templates on. Oh, people use that for that too, huh? It's funny because sometimes I think about, this is flexible cutting mat, supposed to be for food. And I often wonder, how many items can you go to the dollar store and pick up and use for something different than really what it was actually intentionally made for, Because I know my sister, she makes adjustments all the time when she goes to the dollar store. She's like, oh, I could do this for this, so I could do this for that. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, I think I've heard that though, that people have used this for rhinestone templates. I have not gotten into rhinestone yet. I don't want to say yet because I see it, and I have a couple of rhinestones. And one of the things that I sometimes do is like especially during the Christmas season, if I do like dinner napkins or something like that, I'll embroider it. And then sometimes maybe I'll take one rhinestone just to give it a little bit of bling. And then I'll iron it on the embroidery design, something like that. But yeah, it just depends on what I do and stuff. I'm not heavy on the rhinestones because the thing is, I'm so into embroidery, and then I do have a sublimation machine, which I kind of use mostly for mugs and all that kind of stuff and everything. And then I got a cutting machine. I don't want to get into another craft because I know rhinestones can get expensive too, because you got to buy all the stones and you got to do the templates and this. I just don't. I am so busy with embroidery. I got to stick with my embroidery thing. I really do. I got to stick with that. I use them over and over again. Yeah. Yeah, but the paper works. So far, it's been working okay for me. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. I mean, my projects are coming out. I mean, look, this one came out kind of cute. See? And I made a bag like this before, but then my neighbor's daughter came by and I was embroidering her backpack and she fell in love with it. So because I had something, it wasn't the same material, but I made the same bag. She liked it. She wanted to use it as a pencil case. So I just took it and I embroidered her name on it because I figured I could always make myself another one. It's no big deal. So then I went and I made this one for me. And then when we were talking about patches, this is remember someone had mentioned, oh, you instead of getting twill for patches, you could use felt, right? So this is felt. Okay. Now, one of the things though that I was thinking about with the felt, okay, with the patches and stuff, I would not use felt patches for clothes because you wash it a lot and this will go through the washing machine a lot. And I don't know how well a felt material would survive washing and drying. So if I had to do this, I would do it on something like this where it's not really going to go in the washing machine and stuff like that. But for clothes, I would stick to the twill. That's just me, That's what I was just saying. So anyway, guys, so I'm going to call it the night. It is 10 o'clock. And as usual, I always like spending Fridays with you guys. This was a lot of fun. And I really hope you guys liked the information that I shared with you guys today about, common mistakes that people make when they have Etsy shops and stuff. I hope you found that information really useful. And as always, I will keep coming up with topics to help you guys with with embroidery and sewing and all that other stuff. I really enjoy these Fridays. I really do. And I am going to be filming tomorrow my hat because I am going to make this hat tomorrow. That is something that I'm definitely going to be doing. So I'm going to film that and I'm pretty excited because I really hope that comes out really cute. I bought a bunch of cute little sewing designs and I'm planning on really decorating that hat. So we'll see how it comes out. All right. So I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great weekend. Please stay safe out there and have fun sewing and embroidering. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Have a good night, everyone.